After that great session with the investment side, the sort of traditional financiers of startup and entrepreneurs, we're going to shift now to more of the public side of available funding and support networks, social, all that sort of stuff from more of the local community as well, whether here in Spain or Europe, Catalonia. So I'm joined with a great panel today. We're going to, as we did with the last session, we'll go right down the line, introduce yourself, give us a little perspective on the organization you represent, the types of support services you offer, financing that you may offer, the companies that you're working with. We'll start with you, Javier.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean. So hello, everyone. My name is Javier, and I represent EIT Culture and Creativity, which is very interesting to see it in the public funding because we run public funding, but we're in itself a private company. So we are a private company that has an agreement with the European Commission to deploy public funding in the creative sector. So that includes audiovisual media, fashion tech, gaming, also cultural heritage and architecture. So for us, AVM is of course very, very close to our hearts. It's all early stage, so we're talking pre-seed, seed. Last year was our first year deploying capital, about 5 million euros. And then for the next 3 years, we're looking to deploy around 10 million per year across Europe. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Oriol.
Okay, thank you. So it's nice being here. From our side, I represent Acció, which is the competitiveness agency of the Catalan government. We foster R&D, internationalization, and also attracting FDI. Regarding my role, I work with the startups, so I'm just going to summarize what we do for startups. We want more scale-ups, so we want more startups becoming scale-ups, and there are some factors that prevent them becoming a scale-up. Those factors are access to markets, access to finance, and also access to funding and experience. Okay, so we don't address talent directly, okay, but those are all the policies, instruments, grants, and stuff like that we implement and launch to the market.
Excellent, thank you. Welcome. Maria.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for the opportunity of being here and sharing with you what we do. I represent SETT. SETT is the Spanish Society for Technological Transformation. It's a public entity which depends on the digital ministry. I always say we are a kind of public startup, actually, within the public frame of companies. And I'm the director of the Audiovisual Fund. The Audiovisual Fund comes from probably you have heard about all the Next Generation PAC from the European Commission. So this is one of those funds. And we face the audiovisual industry from an industrial perspective, not so much about the content, but about the industrial perspective. And we are looking for companies that need public investing, but in a private-public collaboration investing. And also we are looking at, as I said, all the production companies, distribution, also exhibitors, but all the video games, all the technological companies, any company that has to do with the audiovisual sector.
Thank you, Maria. Oriol.
Hi, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. When I saw first the title of this talk, I thought, well, maybe the title is not sort of maybe I'm not extremely relevant to that title because it says unlocking public funding opportunities. In my case, it's private, okay? We're a private GP. We manage mostly private money. Actually, SETT, thank you, has committed sort of also some public money, but we are sort of a private institution. But we're very happy to work with public money, okay, in public institution and to do sort of what I would call public-private partnerships with SETT, with other institutions here in Catalonia, in Barcelona, and so forth. So we're very open to it. I have been an investor for the last 15 years. I have invested in more than 70 companies. 2 of them have had the best exits over the last 5 years here in Spain, particularly SaaS exits. My prior fund is top 10% in terms of cash returns to investors in Europe. Okay, and that's something that it's difficult to achieve. And now with Plus Partners, new fund, we already have 40 million committed, and we will expect to reach 50 million in the coming few months. We invest in technology. We want to invest in breakthrough technologies, but also at the same time, technologies that have sort of that are close to commercialization. Okay, we invest in pre-seed stage, and we offer them what we call a plus. This is why we call Plus Partners. Okay, we offer them a plus, which is sort of we bring them sort of a number of advisors that we pay from our GP in terms of talent, product, technology, go to market, and we do Plus Partners, and the partner societies that we treat startups not as repository of capital, but actually as true partners, no? And we want to establish a true partnership with them. We already have 4 investments in this new fund, and certainly we're looking at the AV sector, particularly sort of in the areas that cross sort of audiovisual plus technology plus software and so forth. So very interested, and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Aurelio. I will consider you the bridge.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's do that on the bridge.
Yes. Well, we heard from the last
Public-private.
panel. Yes, for sure. We heard from the last panel that collaboration is crucially important since so many deals really are about aggregating many different sources of capital, particularly at the early stage where it's really about pulling in who you know and different skill sets and capabilities into that early stage. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I know each of you represents a different sort of approach in that. Javier, I know when we were speaking last week, you were mentioning that in your case it's a bit more of a direct sort of solo kind of engagement versus perhaps a more collaborative that Oriol and Leanne might be talking about. Can we explore that a little bit? So how are you guys typically engaging with the companies, with the entrepreneurs? Is it really more one-on-one, or are you more part of a collaboration? And how do you foster collaboration where you are? So, yeah, please.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Let's see, where we start from is we're an ecosystem, so that's why we're present all over Europe, and we get this funding from the European Union through a consortia. So it has universities, also academia, universities, industry, and also ventures like startups and so on. And that's why we have presence all over Europe. So the power of our activities is the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to the deployment of the capital, we're talking about individual ventures, and it's public money, means it has to go through open public calls, where we support the de-risking of these ventures. Where we collaborate more with investors is at the stage where these ventures are de-risked to some extent, right? Mm-hmm. And then they can come in. And of course, we want that because that's part of our success. Our success is linked to how much these ventures are able to commercialize their innovations, raise capital, expand across Europe. So let's say we could go to a Plus Partners VC and see, a portfolio exchange, a deal flow generation, co-investment, quote unquote, because of course it's all public money, so it all has to go through public open calls processes. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's a fantastic way for other investors, private investors, to de-risk some of their activities because we're running public money with that goal and purpose, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the investment itself is directly solo. It's not part of a round usually. We cannot lead. But it's a tool to, get to the next stage.
How are you typically being brought in then? Are you actually, a company is seeking you out, an investor might be seeking you out to kind of hand off something that's not necessarily in their portfolio of interest? How does it typically happen? How would somebody find you?
Yeah, it goes both ways. So we have a series of activities and events for investors across Europe. So we have offices here in Barcelona, we're with the team here, but also in Amsterdam, Helsinki, in Vienna, in Bologna, where we connect with the local ecosystems of investors, and therefore we start discussing deal flow exchange. Okay. And de-risking. And now, so the first year of our activities was last year. Now that we're entering our next 3-year cycle, so 26 to 28. We're looking at more structural co-investment mechanisms. So any bank can come to us and have a chat.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oriol, how does it work for you in terms of collaboration and working with other financial firms?
Well, yeah, we started a long time ago. We started with the university spin-off. Okay, back in those times, you know, the reason was to have as small spin-offs as you can. Then we didn't have the funding, so we had to go to people that were investing in those startups, because we were just giving them some grants and other kind of funding. And we end up today having events where we try to have the private sector always there, as a way to increase the awareness. Okay, this for us is important. So we organize investment forums, for example, every year, the Catalan Pitch competition. We also organize something that we call Startups to Funding, where we have, depending on the event, because we try to leverage on those world fairs that happen in Barcelona. Mm-hmm. ISE, we still don't have it, okay, but mm-hmm. maybe next year, and we organize those Startups to Funding, where investors can meet startups, okay? In Tech Barcelona, we organize around 60 meetings, and in Alimentaria, for example, we organize around 200 meetings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then finally, when we also like, because we are more focused on the early stage, at least what we represent at the startups area in Acció. And for example, we have been working with investors in the sense that we launch a co-investment scheme, okay? And what we do is we want to invest with investors. Of course, we know about cherry picking, about investors, you know, sometimes fail, okay? And this is something interesting. But what we try to do is, at least at the early stage, where we think that no matter if we put a lot of resources in people analyzing, you know, we're going to have failures, okay? So we adopted the strategy of spread and pray, and we launch a co-investment scheme where we invest with a blended finance. It's a kind of grant, 20% grant, and 80% it's a loan. This loan has some kind of phantom shares. And then we say, okay, if the investors invest an amount, okay, up to 35,000 till 250, okay, 1,000, and it can be business angel or venture capital, we co-invest. We match the amount, okay? And what we do is we check the experience in at least 2 deep tech companies. In this case, we were focused on the deep tech companies, and we were co-investing with those guys. And one of the company, for example, was from the audiovisual sector, but with a health side. It was called Birmedex, where you can test what's going to happen in the surgery room before happening all that stuff, all this stress that's going on. You can practice it before happening.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Maria, thoughts on it?
Well, in our case, as I said, we represent a public fund, but we work with the private collaboration. We invest directly, or we co-invest directly in companies through an investment facility, and also we have a debt facility. And also we invest in vehicles, like the fund here, that have to be, those vehicles have to be regulated by the CNMV, which is the public authorization. So that's where we are focusing. And about the collaboration that we were mentioned, or how we can be contact. Well, here we have a booth. It's the 5A300, and you have all the SETT team at your disposal. And we have a website. We are in many markets. We are. This fund go for Spanish companies, but also for foreign companies that want to set up in Spain. So this is very important, because there are both opportunities for all the Spanish net audiovisual companies, but also, as I repeat, foreign companies, and actually we are going through many deals that are foreign companies that see Spain and Europe as a good opportunity for setting up, and they come to us. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Maria.
I think that we are proponents of a different kind of investing, more sort of adjusted to sort of the reality that we see in Southern Europe. I mean, the sense that sort of our way of investing is a way in which sort of we rely sort of a lot in partnerships with public institutions, okay, in all type of partnerships. But something that we always tell our startups to do is, hey, you need to rely on your clients, okay? And your speed is adjusting, your speed of evolution and your speed of expense of the startups and cash burn of the startups is adjusted to your market reality. Meaning, and why do I say that? Because our ecosystem is very different than the ecosystem of Silicon Valley or to the ecosystem of the UK. For instance, I lived for 8 years in the UK, no? And which is an ecosystem that sort of you usually don't have sort of amazing exits. I mean, the best startups in which I have invested have exited for 200 million. I don't have IPOs. Okay, it's very difficult to have IPOs here. I mean, because we don't have also a well-functioning sort of capital markets. Therefore, what we need to stress are two things. One is, or what we are stressing is, hey, public funding is available, I mean, particularly sort of for technology, for deep technology startups. That's something that we need to tap on. Second is that the time to commercialization needs to be very quick, okay? And that brings us to sort of some results that when I speak with sort of funds of funds in the US, they are shocked. I mean, over the last 10 years, have invested in over 70 startups. Today, over 2/3 of those startups, and those were invested in pre-seed stage, okay? So a number of them pre-product, or they were working on the product. Sort of on a 10-year cohort, over 2/3 are surviving right now, okay? And that's quite unique. And I think that this is the way in which sort of we need to think about the startups is, hey, your funding, yes, it will come from VCs, it will come from public money with this partnership, but your main funding comes for clients, okay? And therefore, sort of being very supportive on go-to-market. I mean, every startup that we invest, at least we need to present to them 15 client leads. 15 client leads. That's our benchmark. If we don't do that, we're not plus, we're minus, okay? So that's sort of our commitment. And I think that this is something that investors, and I see that sort of here there are lots of investors I've met before, sort of business angels, family offices. This is how we help startups, is commercialization. And therefore, obviously, sort of funding will come and so forth, but clients are first, and you need to grow with your clients, okay? And hence, at the end of the day, we will have a very thriving ecosystem, which will probably not be comprised of billion-dollar IPOs, okay, but actually will comprise of companies that will have revenues between 10 and 50, maybe even 100 million, okay? And this is an ecosystem that will thrive into the future.
That's a great point. I think the support services that are offered along with the financing is obviously a crucial component of VC activity. It's not just we give you the money to get you started, but which are also guiding your business. Is that true across the board for your organizations? How are you going beyond sort of the financing to then support the business? Leads was a great example. Are there other things that the companies that you're working with are taking part of? Maybe we start with Maria, just kind of work our way back this way.
Yeah, you mean beyond the investing, how we do the follow-on and...
Yeah.
Well, as I said, we are pretty new, okay? So we are already setting up all the strategy, but we don't have a background. I cannot tell you about a background. I can tell you about the present, what we are doing right now, and but of course, we want to do a follow-up on the companies we are investing in. We want to maybe in second, further round raising capital, is that the right word to say? We want to support them as well, and we are also on the board of the companies that we invest, so there we follow the business. We are not in the day-to-day business, but we are like, supervising that everything is being well done. But you know, the fund we manage right now, or the 3 funds that we manage right now, have a characteristic that we have a very short time end. So the 30th of June is the last day we have for committing projects, but we are already working on a continuity, and we hope that we will be able to manage other funds that won't have this deadline in the short time. So that's why also these strategies, like we have like one strategy right now, we are facing the last months of this fund, and we have to start working on, we have already started, better said, on the continuity of the SETT.
Excellent, thank you, Maria. Yeah, Oriol? As far as support services that you're, or sorry, Oriol Sanz.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so Sanz and, yeah.
Sorry.
Because, yes, in terms of your organizations, going beyond capital to sort of support the startup, the entrepreneurs, board seats, leads, that sort of thing that you will be doing, yeah.
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, the first thing is when we, for example, we have a grant for technology-based companies since inception, okay, and we try to make them together and make them interact with each other. We'll put some mentors that we pay, okay? We prefer the ones that invest, okay, as Uriol, but well, you know, mentors are also, they can act, okay? And all the things we do, we try to make them interact, for example, and know each other. That would be the first thing. It's always interaction, and not only the startups of one sector, but you know, mix them all, okay? Because this is something that we like. And when we are talking about other things that we can be of value for startups, for example, regarding accessing to markets, okay? We have 40 offices around the world that allow us to reach corporates, for example, that are willing to or they have some challenges that they have to solve. So I invite you all to go to the Catalonia booth or pavilion in ISE, where you're going to see companies that have challenges and startups that are solving them, okay? And we're having there lots of meetings and also like an online tool, but also meetings. That would be one thing, okay? Having customers, as we all said, okay, for us is also important. For us is the best way to fund a company. And of course, if you are not in a hurry, but who is nowadays not in a hurry, okay? Maybe you can grow organically. But you know, when you're in a hurry, when you need to go faster, then maybe you need the money from investors. And that would be the first thing. And then also, although the geopolitics and all those tariff and stuff is changing, we also are trying to just push our startups into international markets. Of course, going to an international market, you're going to need money. It increases your risk. You need some profiles. Okay, it's not an easy task. We understand that. But we're trying to do this in the US, okay, and also in Asia, using, for example, also acceleration programs. I don't know. Every market is different. And we are also helping companies to interact international. And we also attend international events, like some tech events that happen around the world. So we are there with 15, 24, 10 startups, and also we bring with us investors. Okay, so Uriol, you can join us this year, and we go there also in order to make them connect, interact. And now I was thinking about a startup, for example, from this sector. Okay, that's a 3D scanning of people, and has entered in a pilot in Singapore, for example. So that's also important for us, making them reach the market and reach the market internationally. Starting with pilots, okay, a pilot is not, you know, a recurrent sale, but at least you are starting to interact with the market and feeling the pain of customers.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Javier.
Yeah, so in our case, there's 2 entry points for the startup. So it's either a grant for innovation, grant and a hybrid grant equity for innovation development. So it could be like pre-product. And then we also have acceleration type of formats that also unlock funding. So that's the entry point. And then from there on, we work with them for, depending on the size of the investment, between 1 and 2 years. in aspects like access to finance. So we have, same as with Oriol, investor events in all our regions, pitching sessions, demo days, and whatnot. Also, we have, through our network that has both public and private players, we connect them so that they can also apply to unlock other EU funding, which is a very important tool, I think, for de-risking at that stage. There's so many grants across Europe that are sometimes not used. So we, facilitate that at least there's that awareness and that preparation to try to get there. Then we have access to markets. That's very, very important. That's through the offices that we have all across Europe. The activities that we do, like ISE right now, we have 8 of our ventures exhibiting at the Innovation Park. So anybody who's curious, I'll invite you to visit, to join us. We also have a booth there. And also through the network that we're part of. So we're part of this broader European agency that's called the EIT. They also have presence across different markets outside of Europe. Geopolitics play a role. It's difficult right now, but there are offices in US, UK, Israel, and missions in Brazil, Japan, and other places that can also be tapped into for the ventures. We have business units that's dedicated to education. So working with universities, that means that we have a network of universities and we facilitate access to talent. So I know you were talking before about the difficulty to attract talent. Well, we help startups with that in their growth path through our university network, and continuous development. So we continue training them throughout the journey after the investment has happened. So that's in terms of services, but in addition to that, we also have, we call it a seal of excellence. So we're building the 100 to watch ventures in creative tech in Europe. And those that we sign an investment deal with, they get this part of this list. It's called the 100 to watch. And last year, as we started, we signed about 35 investment agreements, and we're looking to up that this year. So the investment is the starting point, and then from then on.
Excellent, excellent. My gosh, time goes by very quickly somehow. But quick thoughts from each of you. Just something so. Having you here at ISE is a great testament, I think, to the burgeoning opportunity within ProAV for startups and the intersection between startups, entrepreneurs, and funding. Something that you're excited about being here at ISE this year, that you're looking forward to seeing on the show floor, or companies that you're looking forward to meet? Just a real quick answer. We'll start at the end.
I'm really looking forward to meeting startups that really democratize creativity and that exponentialize the creators, okay? and for us, that's huge impact that AI is going to have, and I think it's going to be for good. So please come to see me and entrepreneurs here dealing with those areas.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, in our case, we are very happy to be here. It's the first year that we are with a booth. I repeat you, we are in the 5A300 booth. Please come along, and I will be happy to share with you more in detail, because it's very difficult here just to really share with you what we do and the real opportunities we represent. So we are looking, we are an opportunity for private investors. We are an opportunity for companies, as I said, for Spanish companies and for foreign companies that see Spain as an opportunity. And also we have a very interesting agenda of activities with talks, with pitching sessions, which start today at 3:30, And just to invite you to come, please, and don't have any doubt about what we do, because we can explain it further. Thank you very much.
Okay, so from our view, we are happy that the CE happens here in Catalonia, a land of creativity. We like creativity, we like artists. I would say that historically they have been the ones that embrace innovation and new technical, innovations more than anyone else. So I'm eager to see how this happens. Of course, how AI is going to impact all that field. And also I would like to add some kind of impact, some kind of being useful for our daily lives, that I think that this sector also, or all the companies or startups that are here, can make a great impact in our lives.
Thank you, thank you. Javier, last word.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more intersection between audiovisual technology and other creative sectors. I know there's Spark for the first time. Our team is going to have a session there tomorrow about fashion and how it meets audiovisual. So it's really exciting to see how the sector and the event and the industry starts to expand and lines become blurrier. Now it's difficult to just say what is purely AV and what's not, right?
Very true. Yes, the story of our industry is collapsing in with adjacencies. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you on our panel. Crucially important that we're making this visible. I think Javier and I were talking about how so often it's overlooked that this is available for people. So please do find that our guests here at the show to interact and ask your questions. Otherwise, thank you so much. I certainly appreciated our time today and look forward to seeing you at the show. Thank you very much. Everybody give them a round of applause. Thank you.